Most countries were built on something stable. A river system, a trade route, a fertile valley where agriculture could anchor a civilization. Iceland wasn't. Iceland exists because the ground underneath it is pulling apart. Right here, beneath this island, two tectonic plates are drifting away from each other. The North American plate and the Eurasian plate, they separate by about 2 centimeters every year. Not much, the width of a fingernail. But over centuries, that tiny motion tears open the crust of the Earth. Magma rises through the gap, new rock forms, and eventually that rock becomes land. Which means Iceland isn't really a finished country. It's a geological construction site. And the strange part isn't that the island is still forming. It's that people decided to build a society here anyway. 370,000 people living on a place that is, quite literally, coming apart. There is a place in Iceland where this process becomes visible. It's called Þingvellir National Park. Here, the tectonic plates have pulled the land open so clearly that you can walk between them. Basalt walls rise on both sides, a narrow corridor carved by continental drift, two continents slowly moving away from each other. And in the year 930, the Norse settlers of Iceland chose this exact location to hold their national assembly, the Alþingi, the oldest continuously running parliament in the world. There were no buildings, no throne, just people gathering outdoors beside the fracture in the planet. Which raises a strange question. Why would anyone build their political center on unstable ground? The answer to that question explains almost everything about Iceland, but it makes more sense once you see how the island behaves. At first glance, Icelandic life looks completely ordinary. Morning commuters ride bicycles through light rain. Coffee shops open early. People complain about the wind, which is almost always worse than yesterday. Nothing about daily life suggests that the island beneath them is restless. But Icelanders have a phrase you hear often, "Þetta reddast." It loosely means, "It will work out." Not optimism, more like acceptance. Fishing seasons fail, storms shut down roads, volcanoes interrupt international air travel. Þetta reddast. The phrase exists because people here learned something early. Panic doesn't stop volcanoes, so practicality replaces anxiety. You deal with the situation, then you keep going. Sometimes the Earth builds Iceland in public. In 2021, a volcano erupted on the Reykjanes Peninsula, close enough to Reykjavik that people drove out to see it. Some brought folding chairs, others packed coffee and sandwiches. Families walked across cooling lava fields to watch molten rock emerge from the ground. The eruption was slow, effusive. Instead of exploding violently, Lava spilled outward in glowing rivers. You could stand nearby and watch land forming in real time, rock cooling, hardening, becoming part of the island. Some of the ground in Iceland is younger than the people walking on it. And this isn't unusual here. Creation is simply part of the landscape, but the same process has another side. In 2010, another volcano erupted beneath a glacier. The ash cloud shut down European air travel for 6 days. 10 million passengers stranded, billions in economic losses. For much of the world, it was a logistical inconvenience. In Iceland, it was something else entirely. Glacial ice melted rapidly above the eruption. Floods, called jökulhlaup, surged down valleys carrying ash, mud, and broken ice. Roads vanished, bridges collapsed, entire farms disappeared under volcanic debris. The same force that builds the island can erase parts of it overnight. Creation and destruction aren't separate events here. They are the same system, viewed from different days. To understand Iceland fully, you have to zoom out, because the island sits on top of two geological engines at once: a tectonic boundary pulling continents apart, and a mantle hotspot, a plume of superheated rock rising from deep inside the Earth. Two independent forces pushing magma upward. Together, they produce one of the most geologically active landscapes on Earth. Glaciers resting above volcanoes, boiling hot springs beside Arctic winds, black beaches that absorb sunlight during summer days that last nearly 22 hours. And in the center of the island, the highlands, a vast volcanic desert, almost completely uninhabited, too unstable for permanent settlement. So Icelanders built their towns around the edges instead, a thin coastal ring of civilization surrounding a restless interior. At the Glacier Lagoon, icebergs drift slowly toward the ocean. They break away from Vatnajökull, the largest glacier in Europe. Some of the ice here formed centuries ago. Inside it are air bubbles trapped from ancient winters. Above the lagoon, the aurora borealis moves across the sky, green light bending and folding like fabric in slow motion. Below you, ancient ice dissolving. Above you, solar particles colliding with the atmosphere. You stand briefly between two processes that have been happening long before humans existed and will continue long after. Icelanders never conquered this environment. They negotiated with it. Nearly 90% of homes here are heated with geothermal energy. Hot water comes directly from underground reservoirs warmed by volcanic heat. The same forces that threaten farmland keep houses warm. Traditional clothing reflects the climate. The lopapeysa sweater comes from Icelandic sheep, a breed largely unchanged since the Viking Age. Their wool evolved for wind and rain. Over centuries, practical solutions slowly became cultural traditions. Outdoor geothermal pools, long winter storytelling, the Icelandic sagas. Survival slowly turned into identity. Today, Iceland exports its geology. Geothermal power plants produce electricity for Reykjavik. They also run experiments that capture carbon dioxide directly from the atmosphere. The gas is injected into underground basalt rock. Within 2 years, it turns to stone. The same geology that threatens the island might help stabilize the global climate. Data centers store parts of the internet here. Aluminum smelters run on renewable energy. Iceland hasn't eliminated its geological tension. It has learned to work with it. Which brings us back to the original question. Why did Iceland build its parliament on a crack in the earth? Stand here long enough, and the answer becomes clearer. The ground is still moving. The plates are still drifting apart, slowly, quietly, but continuously. The Norse settlers knew the land wasn't permanent, so they chose not to pretend otherwise. They governed from the fracture itself, because honesty about instability might be the most stable foundation available. Most countries define themselves by what they build: cities, roads, borders meant to last forever. Iceland defines itself differently, by what keeps breaking through: volcanoes, glaciers, continents drifting apart beneath the surface. The island never settles into equilibrium. Instead, it survives through constant change. Land forms, land disappears, and people adapt. Þetta reddast. It will work out. Not because the earth is kind, but because Icelanders stopped expecting it to be. And perhaps that is Iceland's quiet lesson to the rest of the world, that meaningful things can still be built on unstable ground, that impermanence doesn't erase significance, and that a country still being formed is no less real.